So once again, we probably should have hit record 35 minutes ago.
Every time.
We recorded the whole podcast already, and now we basically have to start over again.
Correct. So thank you for listening. Come back again next time.
Sorry you missed it.
But you guys are going to have to tune into alternate dimensions to actually hear this episode.
There you go.
So
we need to just start censoring out names when we say names.
Oh, that's a good idea, Caitlin.
So then we can just freely speak, but then be like, hey, yo, editor, Amanda, can you censor out any sensitive names in this? Thanks.
I wonder if we can just add the beep over names like it's explicit.
Yeah.
Like, so I was talking to beep today.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
that's not a bad idea, because that is why we didn't press record, because we had to talk about personal things about other people.
That's okay. I still didn't tell you guys some stuff that, will be on the podcast. So there's that.
Okay. Start with the fresh new information then.
Yeah. Personal life update. Cass, give us what you just did.
So I got my face adjusted. I fixed
my
No, so I've had this week I died, surprise, go back to all of the other past death episodes, and didn't have a voice for 3 or 4 days almost, still kind of cracky. And it turns into a sinus infection because that is one of my standard go-tos. And I go to the chiropractor because right now I feel like with all of us, like my stuff is all like physical. So it's like chiropractor, massage, wellness, movement, etc. Like all of my like checklist to do items of what I'm being told to do is like literally based upon physical body. So chiropractor's been one of those. And she's adjusting me. She goes, "May I adjust your sinuses?" And I'm like, sure. Like thinking like she always does cranial work. Like, she'll probably press on my cheekbones and I don't know. We'll see what happens. And she goes and grabs a glove and she's like, "I'm going to go in your mouth." And I'm like, oh,
wow.
Okay. So she adjusts exactly.
She's going to go in your mouth.
Correct.
Damn straight. Okay. Back to it.
Okay, we're doing this. Like, I'm here. I paid for it. I could use the help. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, let's do this. So she puts on a glove and she literally traces back the roof of my mouth. And she's like, "Oh, okay, this needs readjusting." I was like, "Oh, that's what he said." Like, literally that's where my head went. I'm like, I don't know her quite yet. I know she listens to the podcast, so I'm like, she'll hear it anyway, but it wasn't quite something you joke with when someone's hand's in your mouth.
No, you're like, not what he said.
Exactly. So she adjusts that, and then she adjusted my cheekbone to like make sure there was more room in my sinus cavity for things to process.
That's beautiful. How did it feel afterwards?
Awful. So how when you get your back adjusted, there's like that low kind of grade soreness of like, oh wow, that thing is just definitely moved.
Yeah.
My face feels like that. Like when I smile right now, I'm like, oh wow, like my face was definitely adjusted.
Tender. Yeah, that is crazy. I've never heard of that.
Neither have I. And then especially not in Maine.
Yeah. That's a gifted chiropractor.
But it was funny because instantly I stood up and like stuff started draining from my sinuses. And I was like, shit, like she moved some stuff.
It worked.
That's really cool. Kind of crazy of like, I've never had my internal mouth adjusted for chiropractic. So I can cross this off my bucket list, which is very exciting. And yeah, like I feel like my face like looks like this feels and looks different to me. So
that's cool.
It is pretty cool. So all my stuff, like I said, has continued to be personal. I did have a win this morning, which I will share with you guys, even though the podcast listeners probably won't care. Normally when I get my blood drawn, it's about 10 needles, 3 phlebotomists, lots of swearing. And then they might get a vial. And today they actually did it first prick, 8 vials in and out in like 5 minutes. I know.
Why was your blood?
Why did you have 8 vials pulled? What are you getting?
She always does.
I'm getting tested for like PCOS stuff to see if it's like some symptoms are back and things like that. So there was a bunch of different vials and allergy testing and stuff like that. So
hormonal.
More on that to come. Exactly. But
good times.
First vial, 1 prick. I felt real. I was like, I should go play the lottery. I am doing well today. I was able to give vials of blood without walking out looking like a pincushion.
I have no idea what medically that would be caused, like not being able to give blood and then all of a sudden you can, like what, why? I want to
So
know why.
my internal joke that I tell all the phlebotomists, which is not really appropriate, is that my parents use their veins so much that God was like, I'm going to give her veins that it is impossible for her to shoot up. Like she will not be able to, even if she wants to. So
Yes.
that is what I tell them when they're mid needle in my arm. Just cuts the tension.
Oh my
'Cause,
God.
I mean, if you're one of the people who is a quote hard stick, they're so apologetic. They're like, I'm so sorry I'm doing this to you. I feel so bad. I'm like, really? Like, it's literally not you. It's me. Like, it's okay. So
That's wild.
I wonder
Jade,
why.
are you an easy poke or are you a hard
Mm-mm.
poke?
I'm in between. Like sometimes they struggle, but then sometimes they don't. So that makes me think that it's on the person who's drawing the blood, but
Yeah,
maybe not. They have said that my veins are really small or something. Yeah.
yeah.
How about you?
Never had an issue. Thank God. I think, again, the gods shine down on me because as a diabetic, I have my blood taken often.
That would be
Often.
horrible for you.
And that would be the worst thing ever. Like lots of vials too, generally.
No,
So
Caitlin and I have had a conversation before where she's like, I'm going to get a blood test. And in my mind, that's like 45 minutes to an hour. And like, again, 3 phlebotomists, lots of swearing, multiple sticks. And like, she calls me like 4 minutes later. I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, she's like, I'm done. I was like, that's disgusting. So I felt like Caitlin today and I was really proud.
You're like, oh, this is what it's like. No wonder she doesn't mind getting her blood drawn.
So
yeah, never had an issue. My veins are literally like, you can see them. Like I look at my arms and I'll be like, oh, this one's looking good today. And then like, that's where they go after. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. They like touch it and it bounces. Yeah.
No. That is not my story for sure.
Yeah.
I've
got 2 really good ones on this arm that generally perform very well. So, but sometimes they prefer to do this arm. And I have a happy one on this arm, but she's thinner than this other one. So
in case you were ever curious about any of our veins, you're welcome.
Kaylin.
Okay, listen.
No, you have happy veins.
Exactly. They love to give blood. They're like, here, take it.
Well, you should move into your personal update. You're looking very cute today, Kaylin, in your little leopard print.
That's kind of you. I'm cold. So this was the first sweater in my sweater bin this morning. So this is the one that got worn today. But thank you. Appreciate it.
In her sweater bin. She has a bin for her sweaters.
Yes.
I can imagine that it's very well organized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a clear bin though? I have to ask.
No, it's one of those under bed bins.
Oh, gotcha.
I rotate them seasonally, usually. So like that bin, I'll put my summer stuff in the winter, and then my summer stuff goes in the closet. But because I was pregnant during last summer and / part of fall, I didn't do the full. I mean, I had like 5 shirts and 2 pairs of pants that I wore on repeat. So I never did the big switcheroo. So my summer clothes are still in my closet and my winter clothes are still in the bin under my bed. But
it's a travesty, Kaylin.
It is. It's fine.
I just think it's really cute that in North Carolina you have summer and winter clothes.
I know, right?
She's like, well, it's either 85 or 72.
No, absolutely not. It's been like
colder
40s in the morning here. It's been frigid. Or that day it was like 28 after I busted your balls for 28. I literally the next day I'm like, oh, 28, ew. And the next day it was 28 here. I'm like, oh, this isn't cute.
28 is cold.
Yeah.
But we're resting at 35 right now and it's glorious. Like I can go on walks every day.
Ew.
I feel fine in 35. I can do
41 and I was like, yes.
41 feels balmy. Yeah.
You guys, it's 61 right now here and the high today is 67 and I'm literally like cold.
Wow.
But we have wind, not like you wind, Jade, but we have wind.
No. These are like 20. It was 21 mile per hour winds yesterday. And
okay, here's the deal. I grew up in rain and cold, and it didn't matter.
Roasting Kaylin right now, just asking for a friend.
No, we are not roasting Kaylin right now. Okay, I grew up in cold.
Start with it.
I grew up in cold, So that is, cold was cold and it wasn't cold really. You know, like I didn't use umbrellas. It was always rainy. Okay. Then relocated to Florida and I have been forever changed. The cold hits differently now. So then going from South Florida up to North Carolina, summertime is good, but winter, I feel it. It hits me differently.
It makes sense.
Don't want to be touched
By winter.
by winter. Okay.
That's become an internal joke. Have we ever said that one on the podcast? Because we say it all the time.
So I don't know.
I said something like, I like a touch of cold, and you're like, I don't want to be touched by winter.
No, I will only be touched by fall. That's what I've agreed to.
And then it's gone worse. It's gone now. I won't be. And now that's being raped by winter, pillaged by winter.
Okay. It was like -17 at your house, Cass, last weekend. And I'm like, no, that's rape.
Yes.
You're being raped by
Agreed.
winter right now. And you did not consent to that.
It was bad.
No.
It was -47 with the wind chill. I was like, that's just,
Not okay.
no, I hibernated.
Yes.
That's the only thing that you should do in those temperatures.
Yes.
That's abusive.
So anything else you want to share other than your sweater bin and the hatred of winter? Just, I mean, asking for, a podcast listener.
Right. I don't feel like I have a whole lot of personal life updates right now, to be like super honest. I mean, I feel like I'm really in that like mom zone right now and like just fighting all the mom things. Like I'm like not even with the baby, with like the 5-year-old,
Mhm.
So like baby, it's actually getting easier. Literally just last night, I said to Anthony that I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we're finally in the phase that I enjoy, which is like when they have a personality and they're on a schedule and you can actually, like interact with them. And it's not like, oh, you just want to eat or shit or sleep. Like, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you like me. Oh, that's fun. So I feel like that is good. It's the 5-year-old that I'm just like in the thick of it right now. Just doing my best to get through.
That's going to be that's Hayden. He's a manifestor, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much. And his little like trying it all on thing.
Mhm.
And he like needs an explanation for everything. And so I have to create space for explanations for all of my decisions. And, these are like adult things that I really shouldn't. As an adult, I'm like, my 5-year-old doesn't need to know the reason behind this or anything, but in actuality, because he's a manifestor, he's a cast, he literally needs to know. Like he needs to understand why the no is a no, or the not right now is not right now. So
on behalf of all manifestors, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I
apologize
just
to all manifestors' parents. Yeah.
I encourage anyone on this podcast who's listening to look up what their children are, what their human design are, because I think it will really help you in how you parent them. It has been so incredibly helpful with Hayden. And honestly, even with Kennedy too, I'm like, oh, I can see that. Oh, I can see those traits already.
What is Kennedy's
He's the generator. He's me.
He's literally, his human design chart looks very much like yours.
That's what I thought.
It's there's definitely quite a few similarities. He's a little different, but
I only make man gens.
You do. You just make an army of man gens.
I do.
You married one and then made a couple. I should say because 2 is not a bunch.
No, 2 is 2.
Have you ever looked up what your son was?
Kaylin or Jade has.
I don't think I did human design, only birth chart.
I mean, it's probably man gen, but maybe we'll pull it up after.
I think that would be funny to see what he was.
Actually, I feel like it was projector, actually.
Okay, well, that just tracks. You love a good projector.
Yeah. We'll look it up after. So.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my PL.
Your PL. Mine is not something I can really share, because I told you guys about it before. We press record and I'm kind of in the middle of some parenting things, and I can't really share a lot because, how can I say it without sharing details?
Well, it's a legal matter, so you probably shouldn't until everything's been, shaken out.
Yeah.
But how do you share about it? Well, you're, taking steps today, which while the listeners, when they get to this, it'll be a week prior. So you're taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it could be a very long process, but
Yeah.
I feel really good about it. And I can say this. So January, the theme of January was clearing. And as you guys know, and I've shared a lot of my journey of doing the work. And it's just so beautiful to come out on the other side of it. I'm really, really looking forward to February. I feel like I have so much more energy, and I feel so much more settled inside of my body.
Have you had any drinks yet?
Yeah, I have. I've had a couple. I'm not fine. I mean, there's a huge difference in, not that it can't become like a crutch again, but so far I haven't felt called to like cut it out of my life completely, but the relationship with it is very, very, very different. And I love that.
That's awesome.
It feels healthier for my body and my mind. So
that's fantastic.
I was just talking to someone this morning when I went to the grocery store because I bought those Oli Pops again, which if Oli Pop wants to sponsor us, I'd gratefully accept that.
I love them.
They're delicious.
So good. But the woman's like, oh, she's like, are they good? Because I was buying like 4 or 5 of them to throw in the fridge. And I said, yeah, they are. I said, I use them because I really don't enjoy drinking, but like sometimes I'm like by 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm kind of fucking done with water. 200 ounces is great, but I'm like, I want something with bubbles or flavor, or like just not like a slice of lemon in it. And she's like, maybe I'll try them, because she said she does like dry weeks, which I thought was really interesting to like recalibrate herself. Like she's like, she'll drink and then like she needs a week off. And I thought it was just a really interesting, kind of very interesting dynamic and conversation that was, spurred in the checkout line.
I love that idea.
So
I haven't come up. Yeah. Yeah. Or like, I was thinking about doing like 10 days every month or something, just where I don't do any, just, I think it's, but like my favorite thing still is, if I love to cook. Eric and I love to cook. We made the best salmon with soy ginger glaze and coconut rice with cilantro, lime, and like curry cauliflower. Like, we murdered the kitchen. And we like to share a bottle of wine while we're doing that and listen to music. That's just part of the whole thing, Yeah. And it's just as fun we did it.
That's quality time together.
Yeah. It just makes it special. And so, yeah, that feels really good. Right. So I think that it just has to be more balanced. And
I feel like there's this line between habit and choice.
Exactly.
And when it's a habit that you're just doing because you do it, instead of doing it because it sounds good and you want it, it's it's 2 different things. Those are 2 different relationships.
Completely agree. And also, some good things that happened when I wasn't drinking is I thought, I didn't know, like, because it was so habitual for me, how much of this is affecting like my need to shut down at like 8 o'clock at night. And I can't talk to my kids after 8 o'clock. I'm just like, nothing changed when I wasn't drinking. Like, nothing changed. I was completely myself. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. I can't talk to my guy. Seriously, still limp noodled, like nothing changed. My kids didn't notice a huge difference at all. Like, there was no, like, obviously that was very good for me to know, because if it's a habit, you don't know is it changing you? Is it changing your personality? Are you a different person? Are you right? So I needed to know those things.
Which did you think that was a contributing factor?
I didn't know. I was starting to think maybe it was like, I don't know and that's why it was so important that I cut it out, because that was interrupting my brain, and that's not a good conversation to have in your brain. So I needed to know that, right? I needed to know, and got that information, and it was good.
That's cool.
Very good. So that's my life update, more to come. You have an exciting weekend, Cass. That's full of shaman shit. So you should
sure shit does.
Probably share. We're being very a very alliterative.
A lot of lisping that could possibly go on.
Yes.
Also now I'm just very aware every time I move forward. So fuck you, Cass. Fuck you very much.
We were doing a sound check beforehand, and Kaylin has an excited point where she starts back here, and then she zooms into the mic when she gets really excited to end up here. So you're welcome.
Now she's gonna. I was like this, and I was like, wait.
So you're gonna start sitting like this.
People are gonna run into the podcast and be like, Kaylin sounds like she's one tone. This is weird. I don't like this. So you must zoom in and zoom out of your voice.
Where's our crescendo?
Yep, correct. Kaylin's nickname. So
all right.
No, I lean in. I mean, we all lean in too, but you take the cake on the lean. So lean with it, rock with it.
What I'm here for. Okay. Just to take the cake on the lean.
Take the cake on the
Again, another fabulous one-liner on this podcast.
That's got to be the title, I think.
Take the cake on the lean.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be something about my face too. Just throwing that out there.
Correct.
So, no. So shaman shit. I am doing. Well, actually, let me back up 5 steps. How I first started working with shaman was, I don't even know, 40 plus people, 50 plus people. Every fucking person I encountered was like, you should work with a shaman. Have you met a shaman? You should consider shamanism. Like just random people, like from people at like ashrams or yoga studios, or like when I used to teach yoga, they used to be like, oh, do you know a shaman? Like it was just a continuing word. And I was like, that's really annoying.
Thank you, universe. That's bullied by the universe.
Correct.
For
exactly.
Sure.
Great example of being bullied by the universe.
Mm-hmm.
About, I would say a year ago, maybe now a year and a half ago, I had a couple people do the same thing, but merging shamanism and Reiki together. And I was like, okay, like they're like, you should merge them. And I was like, no, like Reiki is one of the few practices that like when you are taught and when you are certified, it is meant to stay in its own lane. And I respect that. And I love Reiki practitioners, but like you're not meant to bastardize quote Reiki. And I still use some of it, but I don't pull it in as much as most of my other modalities and trainings. And like most of the time I'll go to like NLP or hypnosis and I'll be like, great. You gave me a 12-page script. I'll take, this one paragraph and plug it into a soul retrieval. And like, I kind of automatically bastardize stuff. So this Reiki shaman piece came up again, several times, bullied by the universe. And I stumbled across someone in Maine who literally has a course and a mentorship called the Reiki Shaman. And what she does is pull those two things together. So I've been with her now for probably about 6-9 months or so. And I start kind of a deeper level mentorship with her this weekend from, I think like 9 to 5, or like, it's basically all day, both Saturday and Sunday, over the next couple months for like one weekend a month. So,
wow, yeah. That's intense.
Yeah. So
you'll love it, right?
It'll be good.
We need to shout out to Tom too, because
yeah,
he's the MVP of this weekend, taking both girls with him to New Hampshire so that you can have your space to yourself to do it. Like, I'm jealous.
A beautiful thing.
It is. It's actually the first time I realized I've been in my house without my children in my own house. Cause like normally like someone will like whatever, Diana will go, but we'll have Amelia or like for an extended period of time, like solo overnight, or like most of the time I'm traveling and Tom's there with the girls. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in my house alone. Like that's weird.
That's amazing.
One little funny thing from this though, is one of the things that we're meant to do for this training to bring with is to bring some sort of symbol, if you will, of the 4 cardinal directions and the animals that they represent. So like one of the girls is like, I have a hummingbird, like crystal figurine and all this stuff. And I was like, that's cute. Like I want, most of the time when I take something like a training like this, I want to bring pieces with me into other like modalities. So I was like, I don't want a crystal hummingbird. I don't want like a sculpture of a hawk. Like that doesn't feel right. So I found stuffed animals, you guys.
Oh, cute.
Of course you did.
I grabbed the same stuffy that we got for you, Jade, of the hummingbird. I have the jaguar. I have a hawk coming, and then I have a cute little snake called Flopsy coming too. So anyway, I have 4 stuffed animals of the cardinal directions, and those will come around for ceremonies and our one in-person work versus like some sort of crystal figurine. I'm like, no, we're more stuffy people.
Do the
Well-
listeners understand that about you? Because that is Cass's inner child. Like that's how she shows up. And she is like territorial of her stuffies. Like when you are a mother with children, and if you have a stuffy, like, you know, it just becomes your child's. Like that's just how it goes. No. Cass's stuffies are hers, and that is how she reparents herself right there.
I only
Right
have
there.
one. Well, until I bought these 3. Now I
Now
have
you
4.
have 4.
But I bought the one, and I originally bought a Jaguar, and then Diana stole my Jaguar within 5 minutes of seeing it. So I had to go back down to Costa Rica to buy a matching Jaguar. It didn't have to go back down to Costa Rica, mind you. I could have probably ordered it off Amazon.
I had to go back down to Costa Rica.
I was supposed to go back down to Costa Rica anyway, and I ended up buying another one from there. But I was like, I already have one of the directions in stuffy format, so might as well get the other 3.
But that's
Okay.
like your love language too. Like, because I received my spirit squirrel from you. And I mean, he's perfect. Like, duh.
He is perfect.
But like even Hayden got the sloth from you, still loves that thing. It literally, its arms are like the slap band bracelets, and it lives on his like bed frame on the side, on the like the metal rod, this little thing.
Hugging the middle rod.
And then when I was in Costa Rica, you're right. You're actually not wrong, because remember I did buy the stuffy for the little girl too.
Yep.
So we were in the gift shop in the at the airport, because Costa Rica has a great gift shop, and I was buying stuffies and stuff. And this little girl's like, "Mom, can I have it?" And Mom's like, "No, we don't really have money for that right now. We just spent a lot of money on our vacation." So I definitely bought her a stuffy and gave it to her, and her mom like was crying, and it was a great like little moment.
They do have really good gift shops in that Costa Rica airport.
Yeah, Liberia is great.
Yeah, they do.
That's
I
where
got
the
the
Jaguar
best
originated from.
I literally was in that shop.
Yep, there you go.
I remember that. I remember that shop.
Well, and then of course, because I can't go back to that shop right now, this is what originated from Amazon.
Oh, that's
Aw.
very cute.
You
Wait,
guys-
can we see Flopsy? Because that, I
Oh, you
mean,
guys
the
are making
name is
fun of my
just what
Amazon
gets.
purchase.
Percival.
Oh, okay,
He's
that's the
super
cool.
cute.
Tell me you don't want to worship that and work with that serpent.
That's really
1,000%.
cool, actually.
It's really funny because when you started talking about what you were going to bring, I automatically assumed you were going to bring like feathers and bones,
I have
which
that.
you would also have.
Oh, I
all
have.
of
I mean,
those
yeah,
things.
they're
No,
currently.
I went stuffed animal immediately.
Well, you would,
But you
yeah.
said crystal figurine. I was like, oh, she's bringing stuffed animals. And then you said it, and I was like, I knew it.
And then I also like have a feeling. Oh, and also actually we did it for our John Doe client too. We bought him a stuffy.
Sure did.
Remember, Jade?
The lion.
The
Oh,
lion.
yeah.
I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
that one until just.
Simba.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like when I'm in ceremony, if we need to call in whatever, the West, we can bring in the Jaguar. If we need to call in, you know, what, like we can bring the stuff, like we can literally pass them a stuffy. So it makes
I love that. I
So.
love that.
shaman stuffy shit. There you go. Done.
So for astrology update, I'm going to kind of riff off of an Instagram post off Tola Digital. Because I kind of alluded to this last week too. But I was talking last week in my personal update about my childhood wound Chiron, but everyone who was born between the years of 1968 and 1977 all have their Chiron in Aries. And we are having a Chiron return. So anyone who is listening to this podcast that falls in that framework, you need to understand that this is a big year. And for some of us, it will culminate next year. And for some of it's this year. So when you're having your Chiron return, your childhood wound return, you're going to have a lot of those issues around Chiron and Aries placements just kind of come to a head, and you have to deal with them. And for Chiron and Aries, a lot of those issues are around shame and these feelings of not being enough and a lack of self-confidence. Because Aries is the opposite of all of those. It's confident, it's self-assured, it doesn't wait for permission, it has no shame attached to it. It's like, I deserve this, let's go. So if your childhood wound is in Chiron, then you struggle with those things. And so
what a contradiction for you though, Jade, because your sun is in Aries.
Right. That's why it's so tricky and especially important for me. Also, that asteroid we were talking about last week, Ceres, my Ceres is in Aries as well. So those are very contradictory inside of my body. And that's why I needed January so hardcore to clear, right? Because I was having so many of these issues come up. So yeah, but anyone who was born between those years, just be aware of that and be kind to yourself. And please, for the love of God, get a birth chart reading so you know like where your Chiron is in your chart and how it's playing with other planets. Because I can read my own chart, but it wasn't until I got the perspective of another astrologer that I really let the weight of it settle. You can be your own healer, but you need perspective from other people too.
Amen.
So
Amen.
That's my astrology update.
Do we want to introduce?
Yeah, I've been waiting for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cass, do you want to take it away?
No,
What are we giving away, friends? Jade?
Drum roll. So what we would like to offer all of you who are listening is if you write us a review, we're going to give you automatically a 15-minute free reading. So perfect time you can come to me with a specific question if you are aware of astrology, or I can just give you a rundown of your chart as I see, what I see needs to be talked about. And for those of you that don't have your birth time or can't get your birth time, we can do a tarot reading, or I can also do a modified birth chart reading. I can still get a lot of information from your birth chart without the exact time. It's just not as full and in depth. But so 15-minute free reading. And we keep making jokes because I love doing 15-minute calls with people or interviews with people. And this is just another way for me to do a bunch of yummy 15-minute interactions with you beautiful humans. So write a review.
If it's a 5-star review, she might even extend it out to 20 minutes. Just throwing that out there.
I don't even know if we want them to leave a review if it's a 1-star.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be like, this podcast absolutely sucks. Where the fuck's my free astrology review? I can't believe I listened to this week after week. This is not a place for sarcasm on your review.
Please 5-star reviews if you have enjoyed any moment of our podcast ever.
Any of them. You just
any of them.
Just one moment.
Just a moment of it.
Also, if you didn't, why are you still listening? Just press end right now. Okay. What's next?
So, that's exciting. After astrology review, only roast is next, right?
We kind of roasted Kaylin a little bit earlier.
We did. We roasted Kaylin.
I'm still roasting myself. I just fucking leaned forward again and I had to catch myself.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Be yourself.
Maybe
I listened to these.
Adjust the inside of her mouth with the microphone. You never know. She's gonna be like, I can do this adjustment myself. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I have so many things to say that I can't say because my mother is listening to this 100%.
Hi, Diana.
Shout out to Diana. I'm sure she's going to be one of the free 15 minutes. I can't wait to talk to you, Diana, or do tarot cards with you or anything like that. It'll be so fun.
I think we might also start giving shout outs to people who leave reviews on the podcast.
I think that sounds fun. Also, if you want to send this to one of your friends and both of you leave a review and you guys want to do like a free 15-minute composite chart.
Oh, ooh, that's nice.
Did you just come up with a new promotion on the spot?
I may have.
I'm so proud of you.
Do you guys, I don't know if people even know what a composite chart is. They're magic, right? So
the greatest thing ever. I love composite charts. I just had you pull one yesterday.
Yeah.
So like we're having some little glitches here with communication. Can you just do a composite really quickly and see how we can kind of find a way through this?
So yeah, composite chart is kind of the karmic journey of your relationship together with this person. So it takes on a life of its own. It's its own separate chart, different from synergy. If anyone's ever heard of that, where you kind of like, you know, my moon's in Capricorn and their sun is in Capricorn. So synergetically, we're a match. This is completely different. It's a karmic journey of your relationship with that person, and places where your relationship is going to run into bumps and places where it's going to thrive. So that's a composite chart.
It's been
Or
super
if you need to run for the hills because there's no way out
Mm-hmm.
of the troubles.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes you know, I can roast my children without naming them in this one, like, you know, send me stuff and it's just the same thing over and over again. And I know they have no intention of necessarily like running away from it, because they need to work through the issues that I see in said composite chart, you know, and that's okay too. Just don't marry the person. Please just don't marry them. Like, do whatever you need to do, but like, do not marry this person.
Take your lessons and go. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've said it before, but I'll say it again on the podcast. If something ever happens to my husband, I'm going to set Jade up with 15-minute sessions with any potential suitor. And Jade is going to pre-screen the astrology composite to be like, no, this one might be good here, but not good here.
Yes,
Let you
that
figure
would
out
be
what
my
here
joy.
is.
We could do that too. We could set up a whole business around that 15-minute, like
speed dating astrology.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people who do that in India when it comes to marriage.
They are. Yeah, they
Correct.
still do. They still do that in India. Yeah, they still use astrology heavily in matching people, as they should. We should all be doing that. It's so duh. Yeah.
So very fun. Well, I hope a lot of people take you up on your 15-minute sesh. And I love the idea of 15-minute composite too. So
yeah, if you want to know where to go, do your review, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Which platform do you guys want reviews completed on?
Whatever podcast platform you listen to this podcast on. Fab.
Submit your 5-star reviews. Heyo. And we'll reach out to you with a link to schedule with Jade.
Yay.
Will we reach out to them? This is a technical question. We can't reach out to people. If it's like #1 surfer girl 92 on podcasts, we can't reach out to them. So they'll have to reach out to us.
Submit our contact form with a screenshot of your review on our website, girlfriendswithoutbenefits.com.
There we go. Boom. Now we figured it out for reals. Okay. I think that's it. Maybe. Anything else that we haven't said, addressed?
No, I think that's good. I just keep waiting for a magical ending. I think there's going to be some extra editing.
I know. I'm ready for the fireworks at Disney at the end of the night, and they're just blank stares.
I'm just like sitting here waiting for Kaylin to get closer to her mic again.
I am already close. What the fuck, Kaylin?